It's actually
frontal's the one that scares me the most, to be honest. Falling into your wing.
Oh no, the frontal doesn't mean you fall into the wing.
Yeah.
In fact, frontal is more likely to have you flip forwards in front of your wing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as that happens,
the wing stops.
It's stalled, or it's not stalled. It's slowed down, and you end up surging forwards. Unless when it goes in front of you is more when you've had a dive, so it's come from behind, flown through, and then you haven't controlled
Stopped
that.
it.
Yeah.
This is why I want to practice penduluming, so I'm really comfortable when all that happens.
Yep.
So just be aware, like if you're flying along and for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what reason it is, sometimes the glider might be way back here, and sometimes the glider might be over there. Which do you reckon is safer?
Probably in front.
Yeah. Why?
Because the back you're getting closer to your stall position for the angle of
so
attack.
the glider, if you see the glider up there or there or even there, that's safe.
Yeah.
If it's down there, that's not safe.
No.
But if it's in front of you, it's safe. It surges, you put the brakes on and you dampen the surge and you'll be underneath it. If it's behind you, you want it overhead, so you might put your arms up, which is kind of the right thing to do, but you've got to time it right, because if you if it's way back there and you put your arms up, it'll go whack down here, and hopefully collapse before you fall into it. So, you don't want to it will collapse before you fall into it. You don't want it back there. You want it above your head.
Unless you're flying a C or a D.
But I'm very happy having it there if things have been going wrong. I'm not happy when it's back here.
Do you ever push on your A's in flight?
With a speed bar. That's what the speed bars are built for.
Right, okay.
The only time you would do it is if you somehow went parachutal, like a wet wing or whatever, and it was just, and you could see that your wing's flying, but you're not feeling wind on your face.
Yeah, you're showing me both
dive. And then you either go speed bar or just push your hands forward on your A's, which tilts your wing forward to slip off, because it's basically sitting on a cushion of air, and that's just angling it so it slides forward and gets flying again.
Yeah. Pre-speed bars, yes.
Okay.
Used to grab hold the A's like this and twist them.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
You couldn't do it for very long.
When did speed bars get introduced?
Probably late 90s, mid 90s.
That was the other thing I was going to suggest, is like it's really good to play around with oscillating, like pull brakes on until you go up and then let the wing go a little bit, and let it swoop through and see how long it takes to even out, and try and see if you can, as it's coming through, just stop it, and so that it doesn't go all the way through and you don't do this whole thing, like get used to that. But basically, if you are hearing the wind stop, just put your hands up because you've gone too far. So because it's if you're starting to kind of just do that and you're doing it too slowly, you could stall the wing without even realising it, just by slowing down too much. And it's hard to do on an A-wing, to be honest.
And you've got to really try it.
And
still,
you'd have to really cock it up, but just
But
make sure you
underestimate.
make sure you feel wind on your face. And that's the amazing thing. Like sometimes when you're thermal flying, you'll be cruising around in a turn, and all of a sudden everything just goes quiet. It's like for that 2 seconds,
Hands up.
I was just like I was actually just like going absolutely still with the air. The air is moving that much that you can go from 10 meters per second to just like silence, and then and like just like that. It's amazing. So yeah.
Down by the front door, there's a picture of me, which is what it looks like when you leave a 10 meters per second up thermal into the air surrounding that thermal, which may be not going up at all.
But I have to say, like
that one.
on SIV, we did an oscillation thing where you basically do everything wrong, where you pull brakes until you're pointing at the sky, and then you let them off and let your glider shoot, and then as you swing under it and you're going up again, then you pull brakes again. So it's the complete opposite of what you should be doing, where you should be braking as it's going forward
Yep.
and then easing off as you come under. But I was amazed that you can get your glider until you're looking at the sky and your glider comes over and it is on the horizon and your feet and you're pointing straight down, looking up at your wing and it's just going and it's shaking the shit out of itself and it still doesn't frontal, and then you pull another one and you pull the brakes on and then it goes and then it just goes and just disappears past your head and you just like you fall for a second and you hit and it reinflates and you're like, oh, that was actually awesome.
But you're going to need another pair of undies.
I'd say you've been flying for 4 years. How long until you did your first SOA?
I think I'd done 50 hours or something.
Okay, oh right, so reasonably.
Yeah, at the end of my first year basically.
So people recommended that early, right? Like pretty early on.
Yeah, and the great thing is like most of the teachers will say, how many hours have you done and what do you want to do? And they'll ask what kind of flying you've done. And they'll know like where you need to be, but you know, you could go and do an SIV at 10 hours and just get better at wing control, like turning your wing and then coming out without going and wobbling under it, and you know, like pulling a little climb and then stopping it from surging and stuff. Like, you know, it could be that simple. And to be honest, like pulling asymmetrics and frontals and stuff on an A-wing, it's just the first one I did. Like, you know, even I'd flown like thermals and stuff, but I was really comfortable about it and listened to the briefings. And then you get in the sky and he says, okay, let's do an asymmetric. And you're like, oh, okay, let's go. And you're like, you pull it and it just goes, like that's pretty much it. Your glider just goes and tilts a little bit. Oh, okay. I think that's nothing. It's like, it's seriously like so nothing. And pulling frontals, it just goes, and that's it. It's like, oh, okay, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So, and then you build up. Once you're on speed bar, they're a bit more dynamic. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, like an A gliders are just so well designed to reinflate. They just want to fly and reinflate. So
you'd always do a SIV with an A wing.
I did mine on a low B. Yeah.
Do you do it with your own wing? Like you should
Yeah.
have your own wing?
Yep. Yeah, and I've just got a new wing, like I'm on a high B, so I want to go and do it again because it's a whole different beast. So
Yeah, it's a way to learn,
yeah.
rapidly learn
Yeah.
and become confident.
So
Yeah.
then you've flown your wing enough not to love it anymore.